Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm the Geek Slays, and welcome back to the Scuffed Ass Podcast, episode 149. We're back with Jake Talks Sports. How you doing today, my guy?
I am doing pretty good. How are you doing, man?
Doing all right. We are currently in the midst of that big winter storm that's making it be negative 30-something degrees outside right now.
Nice.
Well, it says it's negative 16, but that doesn't factor in the wind chill, which is very important. Very important.
Yes.
The title, I hate looking at my phone and it being like, it's only negative 5. It's like, I promise you, it's 40 degrees colder than that. That wind will kill you. It'll get you. But due to that, internet's going to be a little spotty, so there might be times where Jake cuts out or I do. But fuck it, we move, because what are you supposed to do? Am I just supposed to cancel the show because weather sucks? That seems lame. Can't cancel the show. We just keep moving. So, you know what? We're going to do the reverse. We're going to talk about the Packers first, because I feel like there's less to say there.
Sure.
Overall. So, Packers-Rams.
Yes, sir.
What do we think of that?
I loved him. Celebrating. Listen, I know that this is a horrendous Rams team. They are not a good football team. Baker Mayfield sucks. Their offensive line's bad. The defense is nowhere near what it needs to be. Whatever. There is no part of the Rams. Donald. But like I said, I liked what I saw out of the Packers. I think that Rodgers is really starting to trust the guys more. He seems to be leaning more towards Dubs and Watson than he is like Cobb and Lazard, which is interesting. But I think overall, I do think this team has a shot of running the table as much as the Packers fans say it. I think all we need is a little bit of a Tua disaster class next week, and we'll be okay. We have the Vikings again, which they'll probably be resting their start. No, they won't. But the Vikings, they're terrible. We split with them. It's fine.
Normally we do split, but I do have to bring this up real quick.
I hope we split.
Fair. I do have to bring this up, though. Do you remember what happened the last time Rodgers came out with the "we're gonna run the table" bullshit? And Packers fans got all hyped about it.
The first time he said that.
We're not talking about the first time. We're talking about the last time he said that, where it didn't work. Because he said, "we're gonna run the table." And then, what happened? Good old Kirko Chains walked into Lambeau and sent A-Rod home.
To be fair, we're on a rotation, so this year when he says it, it should work. Because last time he said it, it didn't. So.
Yeah, but he's still got to worry about Kirko Chains, the real best in the North.
Listen, okay. I don't know. The Packers, I don't even care. Like, if they make the playoffs, sure. I will gladly watch them get blown out by 30. That's fine with me. Like, I will live and die by this team. But it'd also be cool if we didn't, and I could, for the first time in my life, pretty much, not have to stress at all during the playoffs about whether or not my team's there, and just watch the playoffs without. Because let me tell you, okay, you and I have the same birthday, so you know when our birthday falls.
Yes.
I have watched the Packers lose on my birthday 3 times in my life.
Our birthday is on a Sunday this year, too.
And yeah. Last year was the divisional game.
Yep.
Year before, the 2016 when they got blown out by the Falcons in the NFC Championship game, that was on my birthday. And then another one, I forget when it was, but it was another NFC Championship game, I think. I think the Bucs game was even on our birthday. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, this thing, it happens every single year, man. So maybe it'd be nice to have a year off from that. But they're kind of at a point where it's just like, they make the playoffs, their draft order doesn't really change. I mean, they've kind of played themselves out of a top 10 pick at this point, especially if they beat the Dolphins somehow next week. Like, if they finish like 7-10 or 8-9 and don't make the playoffs, they're in that like mid tier, which I hate. But
they're right where the Vikings have been for 4 years.
But hey, guess what? The Packers don't draft well anyway, so I don't really care because they probably would have taken somebody who would end up busting. So who cares where we pick?
Don't they draft okay anytime after round 4 when it stops mattering?
Yeah, but like in the first round, they'd probably be like, you know what we're gonna
Oh
do?
God.
We really like this corner. Like, no, you don't. We need an offensive lineman. Corner might help. I
I was gonna
mean,
say Jair's not good. Eric Stokes just
hey,
doesn't play.
hey,
Rasul
hey.
Douglas, that was a stupid contract. Very Green Bay thing to do. You could
It
use a
was.
corner. You could use a corner.
Yeah, but there's no guys who I would take, honestly, because the guy who I would take is probably off the board by that point. But I don't know what the Packers are gonna do. I mean, like I said, man, just cut Rodgers. I'll pay for the dead cap myself. I'll cover it. Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
But
You
no,
got
I
180
think
mil.
I also said this on Twitter. I also think that if we do lose on Christmas Day to the Dolphins, it's probably Jordan Love time. As
It
much as
should
Rodgers
be.
is, as much as Rodgers is that like if I'm healthy, I'm out there kind of guy.
Well,
I
no.
really do.
Oh, fuck.
If we lose to the Dolphins,
So Rogers, was it 2 weeks ago on the Pat McAfee show, where he said, "As long as we're in it, I'm playing." That's what he
Oh.
said. So
I did not hear that quote.
yeah, it was the
Well,
as long as
so
we have a
yeah.
shot, I'm playing, which is
If we
valid.
lose, if we
'cause-
lose one more game, it's over.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it'll. Jordan Love, I think he's really interesting because I don't want to overreact to the one game, right? But I do think that what we saw out of him deserves at least a second look, or at least a like, hey, maybe he could do something in the future. I think Jordan Love would be in every justified for like requesting a trade if Rodgers comes back next season. I think he would. Because if he believes he can be a starter in the NFL, it's not going to happen in Green Bay this year. It's not going to happen in Green Bay next year if Rodgers comes back. If he really believes, there are so many teams that need a quarterback next year. If he really believes that, I'm sure somebody will give us first round quarterback. I guarantee it.
See, the Packers are in a real weird spot with that.
Yeah, I would say
Because
so.
like it's almost impossible to move off of Rodgers this year. Like
Yes.
going
Oh,
into next
without
year,
a doubt.
it's so hard.
Yeah.
Because even if you trade him, unless you're getting like a Russell Wilson king-sized ransom, which there's no way you are, the two guys who have been ransomed for this year look awful. The last guy who was ransomed for before that, Stafford, yeah, he got you a Super Bowl, and then his career might be over. Like, there's a genuine shot we never see 9 play again.
And there are like two, maybe one, maybe two QB needy teams right now that I actually think Rodgers would win a ring with next year, and that would be the Jets if they were to trade for him.
The Jets and who? Sorry, cut out a little.
I didn't say the second one yet.
Oh,
so
okay.
we're good. The Jets, and I think he could win a Super Bowl with maybe the Buccaneers,
No.
depending on what Brady does.
I can promise
Probably
you he
not.
couldn't.
That or like, I think he could make a run at it with Carolina. They're a talented team.
Carolina's weird.
Like, they're a pretty good team outside of the quarterback position. Their offensive line's been so surprising this year. Their defense is probably going to be top 5 next year.
Yeah.
I seriously think there's a legit chance that if a good quarterback lands, they're making some noise. Because that division is theirs for the taking next year.
That division.
Like, there's nobody.
It's atrocious.
If Brady leaves the Bucks, the Falcons. When's the last time the Falcons were like good? Matt Ryan era, back when Matt Ryan was in his prime. Falcons, Desmond Ridder, unless he turns out to be some superstar, they're not going to be good next year. The Saints are like in one of the worst positions an NFL team can be in.
So are the Bucks.
And the Bucks, yeah. If Tom Brady walks, they have no quarterback. They are paying a bunch of old guys.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's an aging roster, and all of them are quickly losing their talent. It's very evident.
Yeah.
And so the Panthers with a quarterback win that division next year by week 10. Like, literally.
Here's my hot take. Even if they roll with Sam Darnold, they win the division by week 10.
They could. Like, Darnold has not been awful.
No. Darnold, I think we
Not been
all
great,
need to
but he's
look
not been
past.
awful.
Is he a bust? Absolutely.
Yes.
But
That's just because of where he was drafted.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be considered a bust if he was like a 4th or 3rd round guy, which he should have been.
And he can come. No, he shouldn't have. That's
in a redraft, he would be.
Well, sure. I thought you were going off like the take like I had last time. I think it was on your show actually, where I said because I had the take. Well, I've had the take like Zach Wilson should never have been a 1st round pick to begin with. We talked about this. I can't remember if it was my show or yours, but we talked about it.
That was on my show.
Okay.
Yeah, because Zach Wilson, man, what I saw out of him from the Lions shows him as technically salvageable. Like he didn't I don't know. It's just like he's such a weird case because one of the throws in the Lions game made me audibly gasp, and one of them was just like, why'd you do that, Zach?
That's the thing with Zach Wilson.
He's basically just a mobile Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz might be more mobile than Zach Wilson. The issue with Carson Wentz is he somehow gets hurt every time.
Zach Wilson's a speedy little guy. He just runs backwards, okay?
I'm not talking about speed. I mean, when Carson decides he's moving, he's going. But that's the thing with Zach Wilson is he kind of has the Josh Allen effect, right? The high end is there, but the low end is awful. We've seen that even now with current Josh Allen. If he's off on a day, he's the worst quarterback in the league. Done. Doesn't matter who else is playing that day. Nathan Peterman could start, and if Josh Allen's not on his shit, he's worse. The thing is, Josh Allen's base level is about 40 times higher than Zach Wilson's base level. The big plays don't matter because his average play is awful. Where it's almost the like opposite of a guy like Teddy Bridgewater. His average play is slightly above average, and he can make some big plays, but he can't make huge plays. You know, it's like the reverse. It's very strange. Yeah. But no, if you look at everything in college, Zach Wilson didn't deserve to be a 1st round pick. I've seen people argue that Sam Darnold didn't, and they're stupid. If you go back and look at his college film, Darnold should have been the number 1 overall pick that year, based off just film.
Zach Wilson did not play anybody in college, especially that last year when he balled. Like Robert Saleh was like, he's still the same quarterback that went 18 for 18 in a bowl game against like Western Michigan or something. Like, okay, sure.
Right. Maybe he can go 18 for 18 against the Texans.
In the Mayo Bowl. Like, yeah. Like, literally, and it's just like, I forget how this conversation even started. I think we're talking about Rodgers. But, like, teams like that, like the Jets, I think could win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I think so.
Absolutely.
If Rodgers is what he is this year, I think they could at least make a serious run at it. I mean, obviously he'd have to go through one of Mahomes, Allen, and Lamar, or even Burrow or Herbert. Like he's got like a ton of quarterbacks to face. And that's the problem is that like quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if he has a no trade clause, but I don't know if they want to be in the AFC because the NFC is as open as it could be right now. It's like the Vikings, the Eagles, the Cowboys, and everybody else is just in a rat race for a playoff spot.
And if we're being honest about it, going into next year, is there any guarantee the Cowboys will still be one of those top teams when Dan Quinn leaves for another head coaching job that he's inevitably going to get?
Head coaching job. Kellen Moore might even get one.
Whatever team does that is really stupid. Like that might make the Cowboys better.
Sure. But I think,
and even the Vikings.
Cowboys are too good right now for them to consider firing McCarthy, which is ultimately what's going to keep holding them back. And that's what it was with the Packers. Was just like Mike McCarthy's a bad coach, but they just made the NFC Championship game. It had to have been him. Right. It's like no, he's a bad coach. It's Aaron Rodgers is a top 5 quarterback all time, and he's on his team. Like if you had like any other quarterback, it would like, and the same thing with Dak. Dak is good enough where he can elevate Mike McCarthy to look like a salvageable head coach. If they had fired Mike McCarthy after this past year when they made the playoffs, they did. Yes.
Yeah.
Or did they miss it because of Dak's?
No, they made it because Dak's injury was 2 years ago. Last year they made the playoffs, beat the Cardinals in the wild card, and then lost to the Niners in the divisional. Oh, we got some big lag. Are we back?
No, they lost. They lost in the wild card
No, they beat the Cardinals in the wild card and lost in the
last
divisional.
year.
Yeah.
No, last year they lost to the Niners in the wild card, who then went on to beat the Packers in the divisional. The
That
Rams
can't be
played the
right.
Cardinals.
Is that right?
Remember, because the Rams and Cardinals play each other. I
Oh
distinctly
yeah.
remember
Oh God. Why do I have that mixed up? I don't know.
this, as Debo does. But
Well, okay. My bad. I was off. I totally remember them playing the Cardinals for some reason. I might be in a new universe. Who knows?
But yeah, if they had fired Mike McCarthy after another wild card exit last year and hired like McDaniel or like
Oh, okay.
McDaniel, not
Yep,
McDaniels.
yep.
They hired Mike, or if they had hired the enemy, like
The enemy, KOC.
KOC.
Imagine Brian Dable.
Yeah, Brian Dable with that Cowboys team.
Oh my God.
They're with Mike McCarthy competing with the Eagles for this division.
Yeah.
Like this division would be a genuine like shot for shot race.
The thing
But
is,
yeah.
no one outside of Cowboys fans has them pegged as a Super Bowl contender right now. Whereas
Yeah.
if they had almost any other coach, we'd be calling them Super Bowl contenders. Like if they had any other coach outside of like Mike Zimmer. We are going through it at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. It
Yes,
has
sir.
frozen like every third word from both of us for the last couple of minutes. That's wild. Gotta love it. It's wild times.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The Packers are in a really interesting situation. At least theirs is good interesting. Like the Saints and
It is.
Bucks, their interesting situation is like, how long are they going to field competitive rosters?
You are going to be bad.
Right. Like
the Bucks will be bad next year.
oh yeah.
No doubt.
And eventually the Saints are going to be the worst team in football. They're going to have to be.
They might even be next year.
Right.
Like this roster is not great. They have nobody wide receiver. I don't know what Michael Thomas is doing.
Hey, don't speak about Chris Olave like that.
But other than Chris Olave, they have nobody wide.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
bad.
no.
Their defense was supposed to be good too.
Yeah, there are people calling this team the best defense in football. Like, no. You're overrating Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah,
Mario
obviously.
Davis is fair, is valid. I love Mario Davis. I think he's probably the second best middle linebacker in football, still behind Fred Warner.
Cam Jordan's
him-
great. Marshawn
Cam
Lattimore's
Jordan,
great.
still pretty good. Lattimore's great, but like it's like the Rams defense. Like, sure, they have Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, but who else is there?
Yep.
And the Dolphins defense, sure, they have Xavier Howard and Javon Holland and maybe Bradley Chubb, but who else is there? I mean, they've been pretty.
Yeah, come on. Don't disrespect
know,
my boy
man.
Christian Wilkins like that. Also,
And like
Jalen Phillips.
Jalen Phillips has been good, but like their secondary outside of Xavier Howard and Javon Holland is.
is Byron Jones ever coming back, by the way?
I don't know. I don't remember the last time I saw him on the field.
I don't either.
I just know they paid him a lot, and it's not working out this year. Last year he was good.
Byron Jones has been good almost his entire career, and then he just, whatever happened to him, he's just hurt, and this year's tough. Oh, my internet's completely down for a moment. That's good. We'll get Jake back in a second. Oh, I saw him blink.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
So, yeah, he's been in Miami for 2 years. I guess last year he didn't get a single interception, but he also only has 4 in his career. In his 7-year career, he has 4 picks. He is not an interception guy.
You don't have to be a good corner.
That's
so.
true. But no, I wonder if they're getting him back this year. I don't see anything about it, which is tough. Oh, actually, Sports Illustrated said he's not likely for 2022. So,
Great. I mean, they really could use him right now.
yes.
I don't know, man. Yeah, but yeah, like the Saints, like Dennis Allen. I don't think that experiment's working.
I'm so glad. It really,
Jameis Winston has not been good in the time he has played. Andy Dalton's not a starter in the NFL anymore.
he might be.
I think
There's a lot of quarterbacks Andy Dalton's still better than.
Yeah, but like you're not gonna win games with Andy Dalton consistently.
God, you can be like his prime with the Bengals. I can see him being a 10-7 wild card guy every year for the next 3 on a really good run. Like if the Jets brought in Andy Dalton, they're a guaranteed playoff team compared to this year where it's a question.
Oh, the Jets are not making the playoffs.
Right,
they're getting cold at the wrong time, and a lot of AFC teams are getting hot. Jags are hot, the Chargers are hot. They've won a couple in a row. The Titans are falling off, and Ryan Tannehill's not playing again this season. So
yeah, we're gonna talk about that soon. But Andy Dalton, I think if you had given Andy Dalton to the Jets 3 weeks ago, I think the Jets are a playoff team.
I don't know if I want him over what Mike.
I do. I think all the people praising Mike White kind of haven't watched him actually play.
Well, I'm just saying I don't think that Andy Dalton would have the kind of game. Even if it was the Bears, I don't think Andy Dalton would have had as good of a game as Mike White had.
I mean, that's a little rude since... Oh, that's not it.
This isn't Mike White praise as much as it is Andy Dalton slander.
Right, and I don't know if I can stand for the Andy Dalton slander today.
I'm not trying to slander him that badly, and he actually has been playing sneakily well. It's just the Saints suck. But, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that right now if Mike White was their quarterback, the Saints would be any better.
Did you forget, because I totally did you forget about the Week 7 game? Saints-Cardinals. Don't know where I got Ravens, don't ask.
I actually watched the Saints-Cardinals in the entirety of it.
Where he completed... Where the fuck's his completion percentage? He was completing 65% of his passes for 360 yards, 4 touchdowns, 89.1 QBR. Like,
it was a good game. I also remember
just
him
as good as Mike White against
the most bozo, boneheaded pick I've ever seen in my life, pretty much.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I've seen Mike White do that.
Ask Harrison
I've seen
Smith
Mike White.
I've
seen Mike White throw a pick. I've never seen him throw a pick where I was like, bozo.
Chucking the ball at Harrison Smith is a bigger bozo move than what Andy Dalton did.
No, it's not. I'm only saying this because that's what Aaron Rodgers always does. But no, it's not. No, it's not.
That's why Harrison Smith has more interceptions than like every team that's ever played Aaron Rodgers against Aaron Rodgers.
I think him and Aaron Rodgers are like just best friends behind the scenes, and Rodgers just agrees to pad his stats when they play. So
right?
Let's add to that career interception total.
You need some more numbers because people are still disrespecting you by pretending Tyrann Mathieu is better this year. Tyrann Mathieu has never had a single season where he was a better player than Harrison Smith. You just don't watch the Vikings. For some reason, the internet hates the Vikings. Don't know why. Watch Harrison Smith. He's the best safety to play in the last 10 years. Greatest of his generation. Should be a Hall of Famer. Will be a Hall of Famer. And I'll have to be on the internet yelling at all these idiots who say, bro didn't deserve it. He's on the same level as Polamalu and Brian Dawkins. Yes, he does.
Fair.
Oh.
Not so smoothly, but smoothly transitioning.
Nope, we're not smoothing shit.
Talk about boys.
Let's talk about my boys. Yes, I am down to talk about my boys.
I know you are.
That was, first of all, if you follow me on the TikToks, you saw the emotional roller coaster I went through on this day. I do want to say my halftime video, they must have put that on in the locker room because they listened to every single thing I said, including me screaming at Ed Donatel, hey, dipshit, just play some man. Every play you've ran it has worked today. In the second half, we ran man 65% of the time. Didn't allow a first down on any play where we were in man. Maybe
Yeah.
let the boys play man and let Harrison Smith and Cam Bynum just be the cleanup crew. Stop trying to have them actually guard somebody. Make them be the cleanup crew. They're just there to fix the errors in case a cornerback fucks up. That's it. Like, that's... Ed listened to that, and it was great. But we should reverse to the start of the game. I'm getting a little too ahead of myself.
Sure.
So, what were your thoughts at the beginning of... Oh, we're getting some lag. It's okay. Yeah. Your thoughts about the early part. Yeah. Beginning of the game.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I saw, like, the Vikings go down big. I was just sitting there to myself, and I'm like, I don't care if they come back. I'm going to make fun of them so hard right now because I have this and right now. Okay? And I will say, just overall, we're coming back and winning this game.
Oh, my Lanta.
Boy, that's an accomplishment. But being down 33 in the first place is a little scary because it was the Colts.
Yes.
And again, Ed Donatel, not that great.
No.
Not that great of a defensive scheme. But the fact that a lot of this wasn't even the Colts offense, it was the Colts defense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It wasn't even the defense. If we're being honest, it was the special teams. If we're being completely honest. So I'm gonna start it at the very beginning. The opening kickoff, the Colts took it back 55 yards. They were in field goal range after the opening kick, and we held them to a field goal. We get the ball, do nothing. It was a rough start to the game offensively. Our first punt then gets blocked and returned for a touchdown. That's not ideal.
I kind of figured the Vikings were going to come back for a couple reasons. One, they're a good team. And the second thing is that a good team that being down 33 was a very hungry team. So when you are in the Colts, not a very good team, and you run in and you not only are facing a good team, but you've made them angry, you're probably going to lose. And the Colts just came out. I feel like they got too ahead of themselves. They're up 33-0 at halftime. Maybe didn't have to worry. And all of a sudden, here come the Vikings. Starts dealing.
So, to me, I think it's official. I'm sad it didn't happen already. Jeff Saturday should have been the first ever interim head coach to get fired in the middle of a season. They should have moved on to head coach number 3.
Truly awful.
It's not even about the comeback because, let's be honest, as a team, the Vikings are that much better than the Colts. They just are. Like,
yes.
The beginning of that game maybe doesn't prove it, but the Vikings are that the team they played in the second half is what the Vikings actually are. The beginning, everything that could go wrong did, including a defensive touchdown getting called back because NFL refs are on their villain arc right now.
If you just showed the second half of the Vikings Colts game with no score and you just showed them, anybody with half a brain would say, yeah, the Vikings or the purple team is the better team.
Yep, that tracks. Yep.
And and honestly, like, I don't understand. Like, I didn't watch the first half of the game because I was over at my family's house and I was checking the score. I watched the second half because I was interested to see what was going to happen. But the first, I just kind of like checked the score and it just kind of, how is this happening? Like, the Vikings are fighting for, like, the division, like a playoff spot here. Like, what is going on?
What went on was literally everything that can go wrong, it did. Nothing was working. It was awful. And then the refs decided that it wasn't bad enough, so they needed to... And I'm not going to say the refs were entirely against the Vikings. If you saw the videos I made in the second half, the refs would make calls against the Colts, and I'd go, that's a shitty fucking call. That's miss. That was bad. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
The refs in this game should never ref another game in the NFL.
agree.
Like, this was awful on both. I hate to admit it.
Oh yeah, oh my God.
Things just were at some points were screwed over.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, the calls against the Colts, I'm just like, man, really? Like, is this what we're doing?
Some of them were ticky-tack. I did almost get into a million fights on Twitter, especially with people in our friend group. I'm sorry. Calling the multiple helmet-to-helmets on Justin Jefferson, that's a soft call. Stephon Gilmore launched the crown of his helmet into JJ's chin. That's not a soft call. Technically, by the rule, that should have been an ejection. Fuck you. Stop saying it's okay to get hit in the head as long as it's JJ. Stop trying to say it's okay to injure players as long as they're on the Vikings. Go fuck yourself. This has been multiple weeks this has happened now. I don't get why the refs would call this, but if they did it to Rodgers or like Nico made a video like that. If a Jets player hit Tua or Tyreek like that, Nico would have been screaming to get them out of the NFL. But it happens to the Vikings, and he's like, I don't know why they call stuff like this. Because it's the rule, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, and like, the Vikings, like, you can come back from this game because you're playing the Colts.
Yep.
But if they get to the playoffs and somebody goes up like this on them, it is over. They cannot let this happen again. If this is Philly up 33-0 at halftime, you're finished. I'm sorry.
I don't know if we are.
You are finished. Against the Eagles, yes. Because you barely did it against the Colts. Took you to overtime still. Barely did it against the
shouldn't
Colts.
have, if we're being...
It shouldn't have.
There was 14 points off the board there that should matter. You know, the score really should have been about 50-36, not 39.
I'm just saying the difference between going down 5 team and going down by even like 21 or 28 to a top 5 team is astronomical. And the Vikings did a good thing, and they showed that they can play from behind. That's the thing every good team needs to be able to do, and I give them credit for it. It worries me, maybe more than it worries you, but it worries me a little bit that it was 33-0 at all. Ever.
So here's what I saw.
Defensive touchdown wiped off the board, but that's 33-7, right? Like,
I mean, that's still, well, we don't know that. At the time, it was 17-0 or 23-0, I think, actually. So at the time, it was 23-0. 23-7 with the score on the board looks a lot better than 23-0, us getting the ball on our own 2-yard line after a punt and then an immediate pick. That wipes that pick off the board. That wipes those points off the board. It's 23-7 and the momentum's already flipped. That could have been a big thing. I know some people want to argue momentum doesn't exist. I'm just going to point back to this game for the rest of forever. Mostly, the momentum, I don't even know if it's actually momentum, but it's getting the crowd either back into it or shutting them the hell up. The Colts had US Bank Stadium the quietest I've ever heard it in the first half.
Oh, it was dead silent.
And then they had it the loudest I've heard it since the Minneapolis Miracle in the second half. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if it's a momentum thing, but getting the crowd back into it was huge. But
also,
go ahead.
This is a very quick thing. You can keep talking after this. I don't think this is on Matt Ryan.
No,
as much as the joke,
it is
much
a
as
little
the joke
bit.
wants to land,
it is a little.
It is
bit.
not. But it's not like he's the guy who choked away the 33-point lead. Defense fell apart. Jeff Saturday's not a real NFL head coach.
Yep.
That's the reason why they choked the game.
Yep. But I do subscribe to the Shannon Sharp school of thought on that one. Matt Ryan was welcome to score as many points as he liked. He chose 33.
Yes.
That's just what it was. But also, a lot of that's on coaching. Let's be fully honest here. And I will get more into that in a second. I think going back to what you were talking about, the going down thing. What I saw from this game is a team that learned from their mistake in week 2 and in week, what was that, 13 against the Cowboys? 12? Yeah, whatever week we played the Cowboys and Eagles games. In the Eagles game, we fell down 24-0. We fell down 24-7, I think at half. And we come out of the half, we're down by a ton, if we're being honest. And the defense comes out and did the same thing they did to the Colts. Come out in the second half and didn't let Philly move the ball an inch. But in week 2, the offense couldn't step up. Now, the Cowboys game's a little different, but either way, we fell down big early, never got back up. The thing I know is for the first time, because this is the third time it's happened, we fell down big early. This time the boys were able to pull it back together. That gives me more hope than I have the worry that we fell down, especially in this game. We didn't fall down because we were playing bad. We didn't fall down because one of the units just completely sucked. We fell down because of luck. That's all it was.
Yeah. And like, honestly, this week was like every single good team had a bad game this week.
Yep.
Like the Texans took the Chiefs to overtime. The Jaguars beat the Cowboys. The Eagles were bad in the first half against the Bears. Luckily, they.
Yep.
But like the Bills didn't have like a perfect game against the Dolphins. Like every team that you consider a contender right now fell pretty flat on their face this week. Yep. Most of them came out with the win. The Vikings did, the Chiefs did, the Bills did, the Cowboys didn't. They're the only ones who didn't, actually. The Eagles did.
But speaking of the Cowboys in that situation, who cost them that game?
Well,
Mike motherfucking Carthy.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say that it was Dak, and I was going to fight you on that.
Who dials up before the Jags got the ball to tie the game? Who dials up a deep shot on 3rd and 4 when you just have to run out the clock?
I just, like, I in that interception, I hate that I see people blaming it on Dak. The pick six that won the game.
God.
I hate it. Because it's just like, brother, that is the most freak thing that possibly could have happened in that situation. Is that low of a throw. It's a low throw to CD Lamb falling on the ground and somehow pops all the way back in the air. And lands in the hands of
it gets tipped at the line, and it's just
who then happens to take it to the house, and nobody stops him. Like Trevor Lawrence, phenomenal. Like he's the guy, and I don't know, dude. The Cowboys. I don't think they can do it with Mike McCarthy, man.
I don't.
Because like you just said, who does what he does? The Packers game too, going for it on 4th and something, and they had to go for it, but the play that he drew up was atrocious. Didn't do anything, and it's just like trust me, I've seen it. You can't. He won one Super Bowl, and that was Aaron Rodgers' best season of his career.
And even if Cowboys fans want to say, like, well, it was really Kellen Moore, he's the one calling the plays, that's still on McCarthy. He's still the guy in charge.
If Kellen Moore's holding you back against the Jags, he's going to hold you back against Philly or Minnesota in the playoffs, too.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter whose fault it is. Someone on that coaching staff is holding you back.
And
it's both of them.
Yep.
It's both of them. So
what
are you going to do? And Kellen Moore should be on the hot seat.
He should be. And let's also be honest.
Mike McCarthy has been on the hot seat every year he's been in Dallas.
And there's another really famous choke artist of a coach on that team. We've all praised him for the last 2 years.
I think Dan Quinn's a good defensive coordinator.
I
will say that.
But his defense still blew a 28-3 lead.
It's fair.
That was his defense.
It's fair.
The same kind of pieces that he has now.
Yeah. It's not that well built of coaching staff. I think like they do struggle a little bit outside of CeeDee Lamb at receiver.
Yep.
The defense, I mean, this is more Trevor Lawrence prop than it is Cowboy slander, but Trevor Lawrence kind of sliced them.
Well, it's not. The Cowboys are down to their 4th and 5th string corners alongside Trayvon. And we know Trayvon is still prone to a mistake here and there, but now he has to be perfect. He has to shadow your one, and he can't miss.
Like Trevor Lawrence, like he doesn't even have Calvin Ridley yet.
Right.
And like the Jags are torching defenses with Zay Jones. Like, because that's the thing is like there are number 2 wide receivers on NFC playoff teams that are a lot better than Zay Jones is. So sure, Trayvon Diggs can lock down AJ Brown, but Devonta Smith is going to murder whoever you have at that other corner spot.
Right.
Or sure, Trayvon Diggs can do an okay. He won't shut him down, but he can do an okay job on Jefferson. I'm sure Thielen or Osborne will find their way open, or T.J. Hawkins.
I was gonna say, or TJ, or even Dalvin. I think we need to be using him as a receiver more. I don't know why. He looks slow when he's handed the ball, but when he catches
bottom
he
5.
runs.
He is bottom 5 among running backs in efficiency.
Yeah.
The Vikings offensive line is not good. You know this. But
Dalvin felt Cook, weird this year.
Like the one play, it was against the Lions where he just like didn't go forward. He just like stutter stepped in place and then got slammed and fumbled.
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
Like he didn't even make an attempt to move forward, and then he just got popped. Like, I don't get it. He has looked like a very different running back, but as a receiver, like that one catch and run that he had against the Colts was phenomenal. Like breaking tackles left and right, nobody could bring him down, and he has good hands. I mean, if you put him. I mean, I don't know if you'd put him on out wide, but you put him in the slot.
I was going to say, put him in the slot, bring in Alexander Madison. Then you get the weird end around shit. You get so many more opportunities.
Because they're not going to put a corner on him.
No.
So if he goes out in the slot, it's most likely one-on-one with him and a linebacker, and chances are he wins those at least like half of the time. Depends on who the linebacker is, I suppose. If it's Fred Warner, I think
Fred Warner's the only NFC linebacker who can stop him. It may be Micah. Micah might be able to, but you'd be really dumb to stop rushing the pass rusher or rushing the pass with Micah.
Yes.
Like that'd be stupid.
Yeah, no, because literally because when they did rush with Micah, they had Kirk Cousins and Alcatraz. Yep. So
and like that's then you have to make a decision because like what if the game like if the Cowboys and Vikings do play again, they meet in the playoffs. And
there's a good chance.
You have Micah rushing the passer, right?
Who's covering Dalvin Cook?
Right.
Who's covering
Dalvin's open, so Kirk's just hitting quick dump-offs. But
like Fred Warner's probably the only NFC linebacker who can match up with TJ, like respectively.
I think safety-wise, I'm trying to think of who made the playoffs safety-wise that could be a guy to cover Hawkinson. Yeah.
DJ Gardner-Johnson?
No.
Probably can, but he'd be the Eagles guy.
Well, the Eagles would without a doubt try that. That's the only option.
Hufanga, guy from 49ers. He's very, very good.
He's very good.
TJ Hawkinson's got the experience, but he's very good.
That's the other thing I'm loving about this Vikings offense. We have more weapons than any other team in the NFC.
Yeah, because you don't want to really commit your top safety to covering a tight end when they need to be kind of watching over the deep half of the field. It's like if Hufanga comes down and guards TJ Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson's going to beat his man one-on-one, and there's nobody to stop him.
Right.
So make the tackle at least.
But then you're risking putting Tashawn Gibson's 35-year-old ass on Hawk. Yeah. Like the Vikings can do a great job at mismatches because of their weapons. Because you can genuinely have a Vikings team where on the field at the same time you have Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne, and TJ Hawkinson. What do? Somebody's going to beat you.
Yeah. I don't know. The Vikings defense still... If Ed Donatel needs to be cooking in the playoffs if they want to like... I mean, if they want to like compete with Philly and stuff.
My answer to that, the game plan from the second half against the Colts.
Yeah.
Just 50% of the time, and we have a shot.
Like, hey Ed, how about you don't put Danielle Hunter in coverage?
Oh my God.
And what? I said
that.
Like there are times this year when I've been watching the Vikings, and I'm just like. Hold up! Is that Danielle Hunter out there in like the flat zone covering a running back? What is he doing there?
They've got Danielle and Big Z doing that. It makes no sense.
Zadarius Smith is an okay cover. Nah, he was on the Packers. Maybe he's not now.
The reason we signed him was for him and Daniil to meet at the quarterback, not meet at midfield trying to chase down the receiver they were guarding.
Yeah, and Zadarius Smith's like 30-something, so like
Right.
I'm not sure exactly who he's keeping up with at this
No,
point.
he can meet us at the quarterback. He's
And
still
also-
damn good at that.
And also, you don't need him to, because guess who your other coverage linebacker is? Eric Kendricks.
Mhm.
So,
Even
like, why
Jordan
do you need
Hicks
to
is
be
good in
following
coverage.
people? Yeah, Jordan
Like,
Hicks. It's just like
He's
Daniil
not
Hunter.
great. He's not
Daniil
Kendricks.
Hunter is not a benefit in
No.
coverage.
No. And we
But-
saw
whereas
in
he
the
is
second
literally
half.
the biggest benefit.
And what
He's a
happened
top
in the
10
second half when
benefit to you. Yeah.
instead of having him play linebacker, they moved him to down defensive end in the second half.
Yeah.
And Daniil Hunter took over that game defensively. Matt
Yeah.
Ryan could not get away from 99. It like
It's like I get like because the Vikings defensive tackles, and to my knowledge, are not great. I
they
can't
are
even
now
remember
because
they
they're
are.
healthy.
Okay.
Dalvin Tomlinson has been one of the
Tomlinson. Yep,
5
that's what I'm
best
forgetting.
defensive tackles this
Yeah.
year against the run, which is where we need him. And then Harrison Phillips is finally coming in. We picked him up from the Bills. He has been fine all year.
That's
but
the
he's
thing.
finally hitting his stride
Yeah,
at a
that's
great
the thing
time.
with this Vikings defense is I genuinely think this defense has a good chance at slowing down Philly's run game, which could
yeah.
really hurt them. Miles Sanders, if they do meet in the playoffs, is probably not going to have a good day.
No,
Jalen
and
Hurts might be able to beat you with his arm, and I believe that he is capable of beating teams with his arm.
with
for
his arm,
sure.
absolutely. But we
But, like,
locked
But
Jalen Hurts
if you take
running.
away,
Yep.
if you take away like the RPO stuff, that Philly offense becomes very one-dimensional. It's hey, AJ Brown's down there somewhere. I'm whipping this thing or something like that. Okay, because Jalen Hurts, we know, and he hasn't really done it this year. Doesn't really throw over the middle. Which is not what he does.
Right.
He either throws it deep, or if the deep's covered, he takes off.
Yep.
If you can stop him from taking off, if you can get Jalen Hurts averaging like 2 yards a carry, or you just get him behind the line, I mean, really, Philly's offense becomes very one-dimensional, and once you're able to stop that one thing, I don't know, because that's the reason why they lost to the Commanders, because the Commanders' run defense is very, very good, and their defensive tackles are very, very good, so they shut down the run, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, beat us over the top, and they couldn't, and that's why they lost the game.
Nobody wants to remember this. But again, the second half of the Eagles game week 2, do you know what the adjustment was to lock up Jalen Hurts? We initially had Jordan Hicks in as the spy on Jalen Hurts, and he was too goddamn slow. The only real snaps of football Brian Asamoah has seen was in that game against Philly. Why? He's just as fast as Jalen Hurts. We just put him in as a spy. We said the defensive play call doesn't matter. You have one. That's it. You watch him. You do not let him run. And Asamoah did a pretty damn good job. I genuinely think we can take Philly. The only team in the NFC that like scares me to the point of I don't want to play them is the Niners.
They're scary because that defense and
It's
their
the
offense.
defense.
I mean, yeah, their defense can suffocate you, any offense in the NFL. I truly believe that they're the best defense in football. They can shut down any offense they want to. It's just
You're not going anywhere with
I'm
Brock Purdy.
sorry.
I don't care how good he is. He's a rookie.
even if he's playing well in this regular season, come playoff time, I promise you, the last pick in the draft is not going to be torching defenses in the playoffs.
Well, and we've
I
seen rookies in the playoffs before. Andrew
Mac
Luck
Jones.
couldn't do it. Mac Jones couldn't do it. RG3
Jones got
couldn't do
blown
it.
out.
Do it. Russell Wilson couldn't do it. So many rookies who have gone on to be very successful couldn't do it. I promise you Brock Purdy can't either. And even if you get Jimmy G back, I'm actually more confident we can beat you. Jimmy G
Either of
is
those two
not
guys.
good.
Don't win a Super Bowl with either of those two guys. Simple
No.
as that. The 49ers can have as good of a defense as they want. They are going to be scoring nothing
Right.
in
And
the playoffs.
I'm not saying that I think the Vikings are like easily going to walk to the Super Bowl. That is not my take at all. I'm just saying
No.
there's not a team in the NFC where it's really like, oh, we play them, we're fucked. It's more of a, we play them, we're going to give them a run. And the
The
closest
is the Eagles.
I think we match up really well with the Eagles. I really
I think
do.
you do too, but I think they're the best team in the NFL. So I
That's
think
fair.
you run into them.
That's
That's your toughest matchup.
Oh yeah.
And
But it's also one of those where if it was scheduled next week as the NFC Championship game, Eagles Vikings, you'd be sitting there going, I don't know. It wouldn't be the Eagles are blowing them out. It's more of a
I really think if the Vikings run into the Cowboys, the tables would be flipped because I'm pretty sure the Vikings would dominate them 4 quarters straight. Like I seriously I'm starting to get pretty low on the Cowboys just because I've seen some pretty bad play to them. Back-to-back games against the Texans and Jaguars, they were lucky to get out of that game against the Texans, and their luck ran out against the Jags.
You want to know a weird stat about the Texans?
They played every team close this year.
Well, no. Teams are 3-10 the week after they play the Texans. Apparently, the Texans are the toughest game you're going to get.
I mean, to be fair, they've taken
everybody.
It took the Cowboys to overtime. It took the Chiefs to overtime. Made them play an extra quarter of football. I mean,
they even hung with the Eagles for a while.
And the thing is,
go ahead. Sorry.
When you play the Texans, your offense has the ball a lot. Because either their touchdowns mostly come from their defense making a big play, or like their special teams making a big play to get them good field position. They don't drive 98 yards on the field to beat you.
No, it's either their defense, their special teams, or Damian Pierce or Brandon Cooks takes over a drive and just says, "Nah, this is mine. I'm gonna make the plays here. We're gonna go score. It's okay." But Brandon Cooks and Damian Pierce, while they're good, they're not the top echelon guy. They can't do that every drive. Like Justin Jefferson could go out so could Tyreek. So I'm not trying to make this a biased thing. It's just I think of a receiver, I'm going to my guy first. Sorry.
Yeah.
But all D-Hop, Jamar, all of those type of guys, they could take over every drive.
Yeah. Speaking of Jefferson and Tyreek, I don't know if you saw my TikTok today talking about which one of those two is more valuable to their team. So I read that poll on Twitter. Did you see the comments of that video? The guy with the Tyreek argument. I want to just pull it up.
Yeah,
because it's really interesting to me. Because the dude was he said that the only reason Tua has been good this year is because Tyreek Hill backs up the safeties, and that's why Jalen Waddle's always open. That's why Tyreek's
like you
open.
said, why was Jalen Waddle burning people last year then?
Yeah, and and I also said, does Justin Jefferson not do the exact same thing for the Vikings?
Right.
Why is T.J. Hockenson open over the middle? Why is Adam Thielen open in the red zone? Because 3 of the defenders on whatever team they're playing are drifting towards the back corner where Justin Jefferson is.
Yep.
I'm just saying, and I think you would even agree with me. I said this in the video. If they didn't have Justin Jefferson and they hadn't traded for T.J. Hockenson, even if they had and they didn't have Jefferson, I don't know where this team would be. Because that Bills game without him.
That's been my thing.
I don't know what
That's been my argument. JJ's the most valuable player in football because the Vikings have 7 game-winning drives this year, and a lot of people want to attribute that to Kirk. Go watch the game-winning drives. Who's getting the ball every play?
Yeah, and literally Justin Jefferson. I didn't watch the first half, so I don't know how long. How long was he out for?
Not very. It was actually weird how quick he was back.
I saw him get hurt.
He got hurt twice.
I saw on Twitter that he got hurt.
Yeah.
And I turned on the game right towards the end of the first half, and he was just back. I was like, okay, well, it couldn't have been that bad.
I'm surprised at how quick he got back in, but that's the thing.
A guy like him, if he even feels 50% fine, he's back on the field.
Right, and he's still probably the best receiver in that game the minute he steps back on the field. You'd have to be playing the Raiders or Dolphins.
Yeah, he was the best. He was the best receiver in that game on the sideline. I mean, come on.
That's true. Yeah. Well, KJ wanted to give him a run for his money on this day. KJ Osborne this day wanted to be nah, this is my team.
Dude,
and that was
you
kind of
will
valid.
not believe I will send you a screenshot. The tweets that were in my drafts. If Michael Pittman had caught the game-winning touchdown or something on you guys, after all those times you slandered him, I would have been going nuts. If
The
Michael Pittman had
slanders
caught the game-winning
deserved. He
touchdown.
fumbled the ball.
Oh, he sucks. Yeah,
He's
like,
and how many
I was
times
never on the Pittman
did
train.
Pittman
Yeah.
let Duke Shelley stop him
Yeah.
from getting a first down on a screen? Duke
Yeah, I really
Shelley.
I really don't like the Colts receiving core at all.
The other awful thing, Duke Shelley, with as much shit as I talked about him,
Mhm.
he might have been the best defensive player on the field Sunday. Duke Shelley wasn't giving up shit. He had 4 pass breakups and 5 tackles that stopped receivers 1 yard short of the first down. Like, Duke Shelley is coming into his own, and I'm kind of here for it. I kind of see him being like our Rasul Douglas from last year. The guy who's bounced around the league forever and randomly is just kind of good. Which I'll take it, because we need it, because our corners are rough. Pat Pete is still better in man than he is in zone. I'm standing by that, because that's what Sunday showed me. I know, we do have the video. Well, we don't on this show. The NFL hasn't given me the rights to play clips on the show. But we saw in week 1, he got burnt by Christian Watson. You know, maybe the second fastest receiver in football.
First. No, I'm just kidding.
Come on now. Don't take the speed away from Tyreek Hill. There's going to be a problem.
Hey.
I still stand by that. He's good. He's great.
Football.
He's the second best receiver in football.
He's the best receiver.
No, you want to pretend. What does he do better than JJ other than be fast? Does he have better hands? Fuck no. Is he a better route runner? Fuck no. What does he do better other than be fast?
A receiver. He's a better receiver, in my opinion.
Okay,
I don't even
why?
know. I legitimately can't even back it up with my own.
So, is it just biased because you're a Packers fan and JJ's on the Vikings?
It is literally just I watch both of them play and I like Tyreek better. It's as simple as that.
How,
Maybe it's
though?
the speed. I don't know. I don't know.
Fair enough, I guess.
I legitimately
Each their own.
it is simply an eye test and opinion thing for me.
Like,
I could put Jefferson at 1 anytime I wanted to.
Yeah.
I probably will at some point. But like legitimately, like I think Tyreek Hill's the best receiver in football.
If Jefferson breaks 2K this year, you kind of have to.
Tyreek also could.
Right, but that but the thing is, I had to have this talk with other people. It's not like Cooper Kupp's near 2,000 yards last year, where it was all, in the slot working against linebackers, and it was the scheme that was drawing him open. I'm not saying Cooper Kupp's bad. What I'm saying is, how many times did you see Cooper Kupp beat triple coverage? Not often, because that's not how the offense designed it for him.
Right.
Like, it wasn't pure dominance that got him that close to 2,000 yards last year. It wasn't pure dominance that did it for Cooper Kupp. JJ's just out there beating guys. Now, sometimes it is the scheme, and we've seen that. But there's also just been a ton of plays where it's just 4th and 18 against the Bills. What other receiver makes that catch?
Yeah.
Maybe D-Hop? Maybe.
Who do you rank higher between Tua and Kirk right now? Just out of curiosity.
Kirk.
Yeah.
I don't hate Tua, but I saw
So
Miller
if-
Football do this today. He ranked Tua above Kirk. I don't see it.
Yeah.
What does Tua do better?
Right. And I agree. So would you not say that Tyreek Hill with a worse quarterback and more talented weapons around him getting 2,000 would be more impressive than it is for Justin Jefferson to get it when he's a better quarterback and less weapons around him to take the ball away? That's what I'm saying.
Actually,
and that's why I
he
think
has
that
more
Jefferson's a little
weapons
more
around
valuable
him.
to his team.
I would argue JJ has more weapons on maybe.
Waddle's better than Thielen.
Yes. KJ Osborne's better than every other receiver on that Dolphins team. Without a doubt.
Sure, maybe. Mike
And
Gesicki and
Hawkinson
TJ
is
Hawkinson.
a mile better than Gesicki. Gesicki hasn't had more than 3 catches in a game all year.
Doesn't get used right. There was a clip.
Could be.
There was a clip He goes up to he goes up to Dawson Knox at the end of the Bills game. He daps him up and he goes, "Well, I'm glad they're actually using you," and then walks away.
I think the issue for Mike Gesicki,
I think he's pretty frustrated with the way he's being used, but also he doesn't really fit their offense.
well, so there's two things for Gesicki. He's not a tight end. He's a wide receiver. Dude cannot block. That's why Hawkinson's going to get playing time over you. Like, that's why Hawkinson's going to play more snaps every game than Gesicki does. Is because Hawkinson can do the other 50% of being a tight end. And then the big problem for Gesicki is his hands aren't that good. So as a purely receiving tight end, dude struggles to catch the ball. I wouldn't want to use you either. That's why Alec Ingold has basically taken your role in the offense. I'm not saying taking his job because Alec Ingold doesn't play tight end, but the role that Gesicki should play is the number 3 weapon. And Alec Ingold has taken that spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that, like, Tua, with Tyreek doing what he's doing with Tua, is very impressive to me. And also, the difference is, like, Jalen Waddle's a top 10. No, never mind. Jalen Waddle's a top 12 receiver. 15. Thielen is
top 25.
I don't think at this point not. I think the gap between Waddle and Thielen is enough to the point where I'm like, I mean, he has a guy here who has the potential to be top 10 currently. Yeah. Thielen was at some points in his career.
Yeah.
But right now, he has no shot to be a top 10, and he won't be.
He's without a doubt top 25. He's still without a doubt a top 5 number 2 receiver in football because there's not that many great number 2s. Waddle's ahead of him. Higgins is ahead of him.
It's just like, I just think the thing that, like, the fact that, like, all the narrative surrounding Tyreek were without Mahomes, he would be
right. I was pushing useless. Those narratives.
Yeah, without Mahomes, without the best quarterback in football, with Tua the quarterback, everyone was like, "This man really chose Tua over Mahomes," and now he's about to have 2,000 yards with Tua. Like, I don't know. I think Kirk's better than Tua, so I think the quarterback situation is better for Justin Jefferson, but I don't think there's any argument for him being any lower than 2, and I won't put him any lower than 2. Fair. He's not. I think Devontae is the closest guy behind
3.
him.
But I also think
clear 3.
I think if you did it by tiers, I almost want to say Jefferson and Hill deserve to be in a tier of their own.
Yeah, Devontae, I don't blame him entirely.
I don't either.
Like, but Derek Carr's having an off year, and he's a bad coach, and the offense isn't great. But like, I don't know. Devontae is still, like, very, very clearly, like, one of the best receivers on the planet. Like,
I'm not trying to discredit anybody.
Insane.
But Hill and Jefferson have just been on another level compared to everybody else all year.
Yeah, I mean, no receiver's ever gone over 2,000 yards, and this year 2 of them might.
Two of them might.
Crazy.
Tyreek's at a little bit of a disadvantage right now. He's about 100 yards behind Jefferson.
Yeah, that I think he has tough. Giants, the Packers, and
we have the Giants, the Packers, and the Bears. And
the Bears, you could get all the yardage he needs to 2,000 against the Bears. Like,
the issue is, are we gonna even let him put on a uniform in Week 18? Especially if we lock up the 2 seed.
Your playoff spot is. Yeah. I mean, if the Cowboys keep losing and you keep winning, probably not.
Well, it's not about the Cowboys. It's the 49ers. We need them to lose.
True.
To lock it.
The Cowboys have the head-to-head advantage with you guys. So if you were to finish with the same record,
it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter.
The 2 seed.
It wouldn't matter. They would have to win their division to move into the 2 seed. But actually, if they won their division, they would be in the 1 seed. The Cowboys cannot move past us. They cannot.
I keep forgetting about the Eagles. Never mind.
Yeah, the Cowboys cannot move past us. It's only the 49ers.
The Eagles were in the same division as the Cowboys.
Yeah. It's everybody's been doing that this year. Well, some people just kind of forget that divisions matter. They're like, well, the Cowboys had a better record.
I do. Like, I really do hope that all four teams from a division be in the playoffs.
I don't.
I mean, Seahawks don't deserve a playoff spot. I don't think currently.
They do over the
I don't think
Giants.
I don't think the Giants do either.
I'd give it to
I
the
think the
Seahawks
Giants and
first.
the Seahawks. I give it to the Seahawks first, but like I think in the hunt right now.
Yeah. The Packers and
Yeah.
Lions are the only other two teams really.
Oh, I would
in
give
the
it
hunt.
to the Lions over the Giants right now.
So would I.
I would. I think the Lions and the Seahawks should be in over the Commanders and Giants right now.
I
if
hope
I'm
the
being completely real.
Lions don't win out and they miss the playoffs. I don't want to have to face Detroit a third time. I
That's
really
true.
don't.
They're a team that could definitely come out there.
Now, I think the one benefit we have is that we're gonna be the 2 seed, or no matter what, we're getting a home playoff game.
To be fair,
Forcing you to come to Minnesota is
if the
way
Lions
tougher.
if the Lions make the playoffs, you're playing them wild card round because
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
be the 7th seed.
But it would be in Minnesota, not in Detroit.
Right.
That does matter.
I don't
Home field
know.
advantage does matter. It really does.
Be a cool story for the Lions to get in, but like it's Jared Goff.
Right.
We've seen the ways he can cost them.
Yep.
We've also seen the ways that he can elevate them. So who
True.
knows?
Jared
It
Goff.
depends on what Jared Goff comes out that day, honestly, because that's how it's been all year.
So I've found this interesting all year, so I do want to bring it up with you just talking about Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson. And this was true last week before the sizable gap happened. Because remember last week, before last weekend's games, Tyreek and Jefferson were like, there was a 12-yard difference, a 1-catch difference. The touchdowns were the same. Like, their stats were very equal pre-last week. Now it's a little skewed. But do you know who has the longest reception of the two? Sorry, you froze up. I don't know if you answered, but you froze up.
It's probably Jefferson because Tyreek gets underthrown.
They're
a lot.
tied at 64, technically. And do you know what quarterback gave Tyreek
Hold
the
up, hold up.
64-yarder?
It's Teddy. I don't
Yeah,
care.
it's pretty funny.
Birds or right after the catch factored in.
I don't know. Just their long is both 64.
Because
That's what I
I
know.
cannot remember Kirk throwing a 64-yard airtime ball.
I don't know if he did
Justin
or not.
Jefferson.
But technically, Tyreek's wouldn't have been 64 with the... But either way,
Did Tyreek get tackled right away on that Teddy throw?
I
or was
don't
that a
remember
touchdown?
now. All I know is it was that throw. They're tied at 64. That stat hasn't changed since last week. Out of the two, who has more catches of 20 plus?
Probably Jefferson.
Yeah. Who has more catches of 40 plus?
Probably Jefferson. Tyreek is
This
worse
is the
quarterback.
wild one. Who has more yards after catch?
Probably Jefferson because Tyreek doesn't get the ball in space a lot.
But that's what's so wild to me. How is it close? Like, how is Tyreek even close in yards? Like,
I don't know, man.
it's weird. I don't know where all of Tyreek's yards are coming from. I'm not trying to discredit him. I literally put out a video at the beginning of this month talking about how he was the second best receiver in the league, and I was fucking wrong, and I ate my words. And I'm a little mad at the whole world. Nobody gave me any praise for actually doing what I said I would do. I remember everybody giving me shit saying I would never actually post the video saying I was wrong. And I posted it. No one wanted to acknowledge that I did it. I was very sad. Very sad.
Listen,
Like,
man.
it is one of the most viewed videos on my YouTube channel, but all of my film reviews do good.
Yeah.
I'm not like Theo where I can like really break down like weird terminology. Mostly
Yeah,
because
'cause, like-
everybody learns it different. There's like a go route is sometimes also called a post or just a
streak.
fly
Like-
or a streak. We all have different vernacular for that, all different verbiage. So my verbiage isn't the same
and
as
like
Theo, but like
I never played football, so I don't like immediately recognize coverages. Like Theo will just like look at a defense and be like, "Oh, it's cover 2," and I'll just be like, "They're in zone." I know
I
that.
can
Like
sometimes. Like it
it
depends.
depends.
Yeah.
Well,
it depends.
you're
Oh,
the Vikings fan over here.
you cut out really bad.
Okay. I said if there's anybody who knows anything about cover 2, it's a Vikings fan.
I actually got clipped being wrong about that during the TikTok video. I paused. I saw you freeze. During the TikTok video, when the defense came back out, I was like, all right, Ed, what kind of cover 2 shell are you drawing up? Oh, that's not cover 2. That's cover. Oh, shit. Oh, he changed.
Yeah.
He did the thing. It was pretty funny. But
stuff.
the Vikings are in a weird spot. I just...
Not winning the
Oh, what'd you say? Sorry. Oh, my God. We've hit a rough spot.
Super Bowl. Sadly.
Yes, the Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl, sadly. Yes.
Fortunately, Aaron Rodgers will be getting his second ring this year. Fortunately, they will go on a Cinderella type miracle run, and he will retire in glory after they win the Super Bowl.
Until Justin Jefferson tells Jair what he did last time. Sit down, young fella.
I think I don't know.
I'm
sick of talking about the stupid Vikings team.
That I do want to say, though, real quick. Wouldn't you love if the Vikings and Packers do play again? Wouldn't you love for Jair to actually shadow JJ? Like, actually go man up, one-on-one him.
Well, they are playing again, so.
Right. But you'd love to see that, right? Like,
but
good or bad, I want to see.
Joe Barry says no.
Yeah,
Joe Barry doesn't want it.
Joe Barry's no fun.
Joe Barry says, Jair, you can't go past 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. You have to watch the flat. Just in case Dalvin Cook catches one, you're there, buddy.
Trash.
Oh, wait. Guys, why is Justin Jefferson wide open? I don't know. Maybe it's because you put Jair Alexander on the opposite side of the field and gave him no chance to even try.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he'd succeed every time, but at least give ourselves the best shot at stopping the second best receiver in football. I mean, like, dude, we're like legit.
Yep. Yeah. What a time. What's that? What are some other games we should talk about? I know that the Patriots-Raiders game ended a little wild.
That's the only part of this game I want to talk about is the ending.
Yep, I agree. Big agree.
I don't really get what they were thinking. Like, you don't have to lateral it there. So, like, if you're not going to score a touchdown, go down and send this thing to overtime. Like, the Patriots probably could have won in overtime. Maybe not with Devontae. If the Raiders had gotten the ball first, they probably would have ended up scoring.
I hate this because I technically agree with, I believe it was Emmanuel Acho talking about this, and I hate that I agree with him on something, but he's 100% right. The internet has been trying to blame Jacoby Myers for this all happening. Jacoby Myers was the second guy in the row. Think about it this way. I'm using the same analogy he did. I'm just ripping it straight out of his mouth, basically. But me and you were walking down the street, right? And as we're walking, we just see every other human on this street run the other way. What are we doing? We're not asking questions. We're turning and we're fucking running. What the fuck's going on? We'll ask questions when we're at a safe distance. That's what happened to Jacoby Myers. The actual mess-up was Ramondre pitching it for no reason.
Yeah.
Because that
my
was,
question.
We're going to make plays. And then Jacoby Myers goes, oh, we're playmaking? All right, let's make a play. And he just fucking chucked it to nobody.
Yeah, but like, my question is, what did Jacoby Myers think Mac Jones was going to do with that ball? Like, was there nobody else on the field for the Patriots that he could have thrown that to?
A lineman. I would rather Mac have it.
I would rather Mac have it too, but you know who else was right there is Chandler Jones, and like I think it was hilarious watching Chandler Jones just like put like the most like extra stiff arm into like
Oh
making sure
yeah,
Mac Jones went down. Like he didn't have to do all that, but he absolutely just murdered Mac Jones and took it to that. It was a great play by Chandler
great.
Jones.
Yep.
Like, that takes a lot of skill to be able to track that ball.
Yep.
Catch it as an edge rusher who doesn't play in coverage. Catch it, bowl over a not like small dude, like Mac Jones is a big dude, and take it away to the house. But like, I don't know, man. Belichick, I would not want to be in that Patriots locker room after that because Belichick probably tore them a new one.
I do want to give a quick shout out to Hunter Henry being the only Patriot who showed any hustle on that play. At least homie tried to catch up to Chandler Jones. Like,
He knew he wasn't going to, but
no,
he was just
but at
like,
least
all
he
right,
put the effort
might as well
in.
look like,
Like,
might as well look like I'm trying, you know,
Right?
like
he gave it his all.
whereas like Ramondre Stevenson had a lot of time to get back, like
So did
and honestly-
Jacoby Myers and
honestly-
Kendrick Bourne, the fastest player on the field,
Yeah.
and Nelson
Like,
Aguilar, the
honestly-
second fastest. Like,
literally, like if you're a Patriots player and you see Jacoby Myers throw that ball, even if you believe Mac Jones is going to catch that, you are going back there.
Yep.
Because if Mac Jones gets it, you got to come to him. You don't want him throwing a deep ball and getting that picked, right?
yeah,
So you're coming back towards him. So and then you're in a position to, if Chandler Jones gets it, at least track him down. I'm not saying that Kendrick Bourne would have tackled him because that's a big dude you're trying to tackle, but like.
but also
I don't know,
he's a
dude.
defensive end. He doesn't get
Yeah.
tackled. It's actually surprisingly easy to bring down the bigger guys that don't ever
Right.
touch the ball.
It's just like, yeah, man. He had every option. He had every like choice to
Yep.
just go down when he got surrounded, or just let himself get tackled, and take this thing to overtime and give yourselves a better shot.
Right.
Like your chances of winning that game the second he lateraled it went to like zero, pretty much
Yep.
zero.
Did you
If you
see?
go to overtime, it was 50%, pretty much.
Yep.
See what?
Did you see Colin Cowherd's take on all of this?
Probably at some point, but I don't remember.
So he said that the Patriots, it's pretty wild that the smartest team of all time, under the smartest coach of all time, just made the dumbest play in NFL history. And you know why that was? It's because they fed into their own ego. Belichick believed it was the system, never the players. He believed he could do it with anyone. Brady saw Belichick get too in love with his system and left. Belichick, now, instead of doing the correct thing and hiring who's ever best for the job, he's hiring his son. He has a defensive coordinator being an offensive coordinator because, well, it's still my system. It'll work out. Belichick failed because of his own hubris. That's it.
Yeah.
The Patriots are now the dumbest team in the NFL under the smartest head coach. How does that work?
Does not.
Hit
Neither of
another
these two-
lag spike.
I was just saying, this Raiders team, even though they're winning games, do not deserve a playoff spot, and neither do the Patriots. Like, these are two teams who are wild card contenders in the AFC. Like the top of the AFC, very very good, but that bottom part, like, not great.
So I guess that's a question for you, because if the season were to end today, we'd have the Bills, Chiefs, and Bengals as the division winners. Then the Titans, I don't think they can hold on to it. I think the Jags are going to end up being the 4 seed somehow, which is wild.
Yeah, probably.
I'm sorry. You've let Malik Willis throw it like 14 total times in his career, and he has like 4 picks. He's not ready yet. But then you've got the Ravens and Chargers. Then really the real competition is Dolphins, Patriots, Jets. And the Raiders, I think, need too much help to get in. They need 2 losses from the Dolphins. and then a loss apiece from the Patriots and Jets. Like that's a lot to ask for.
The Patriots and Jets play each other, so one of those teams will lose.
And I guess they don't. Yeah, no, they still need a Patriots loss either way.
And the Packers will be gift wrapping and handing an L to the Dolphins, so that'll work out.
I'm still picking the Dolphins. Who's guarding
so am I.
Tyreek? That's all that matters to me. Who's stopping Tyreek?
Stokes. He's fast. Rasul Douglas, don't you worry about it.
Rasul Douglas is going to get mossed by Trent Sherfield. I'm calling it. Yes, that's the Dolphins' number 3 receiver, for those who are wondering. Yeah.
Happened to Cedric Wilson, man. Where'd he go?
Who knows?
Where is he? Where's
I don't know, sitting on the bench, because that's what you do with the best quarterback on your roster. You bench him. Oh, God. But I don't know. The AFC playoff picture is going to be wild. There's a world where we get a Jaguars-Dolphins wild card game.
Yeah, the Dolphins would probably crush them.
Probably.
I
There's
don't
a
know
world.
I don't know if that Jags defense is good enough. Although they're definitely a promising defense.
You know what I would find interesting? Jags-Chargers.
That would be a good game.
That'd be interesting.
I think that
I'd lean Jags because
I'd
Doug
probably
Peterson's a
lean Jags
way better
because
coach.
that and like Trevor Lawrence in this offense kind of showed that they can, even if their receiving core isn't the most star-studded thing, that they can beat. And first of all, don't like Brandon Staley. So come playoff time, I don't know if I trust Brandon Staley. And they don't have anybody at corner. J.C. Jackson fell off a cliff. Good.
J.C. Jackson just got arrested.
Did he?
Yeah, I swear I just saw this. Hold on.
Awful.
Yeah. So J.C. Jackson was booked Monday afternoon at Bristol County Jail.
I did see this.
In Massachusetts in relation to a nonviolent family issue.
The dude that plays for LA, why is he in Massachusetts?
Well,
Playing the Patriots?
He played for the Patriots. It's probably where his house is.
True.
Because
dude,
he got paid a lot. I still don't know if he can afford to live in LA.
His arc is weird.
No, it's he also suffered a season-ending knee injury in Week 7, so he was at home. That's all it was. He's out for the year, so he was at home.
Yeah, but this dude, I don't know. I don't trust Staley. I don't necessarily trust the defense. And
Staley's the reason J.C. Jackson's suddenly bad. I'm not going to let people keep trying to pretend it's J.C. Jackson. We've seen this story over and over. I've seen it.
The Chargers receivers are, they're old.
They're not good.
And
Keenan Allen isn't that guy. You think Thielen's regressed?
In the speed.
Yeah, you think Thielen's regressed. Go look at Keenan Allen.
And Mike Williams is a one-trick pony, and it most of the time doesn't work. Josh Palmer and Andrew Carter were okay in their absences. Even Josh Palmer was surprisingly okay in their absences, but they're not
But he's not
they're gonna torch you. Austin Eckler is that Jags run defense is good enough to the point where Austin Eckler probably wouldn't be much of a factor. Herbert is generational. He's a top 5, 3, maybe even 3 quarterback for me right now.
The
dude is
2.
Yeah, the dude is absolutely insane. I despise the narratives around him. I've said this so many.
Yeah. People have been getting mad at me about that, but I genuinely believe Herbert's better than Josh Allen.
Yes.
Because Herbert's consistent.
Yeah, screw this. I'm saying it. He's the second best quarterback in the NFL.
I'm sorry. Here's how the rankings go, though. I saw people do this. The QB tiers. Here's the tiers. Tier 1 is Patrick Mahomes. Nobody else is there. I'm sorry, they aren't. They're just not. They just aren't. So it's Mahomes. Tier 2 to me is Herbert, Allen, Burrow, and Lamar. That's tier 2. And then it moves on to the next parts of the list. Don't really matter. Brady and Rodgers probably go in tier 3. And that's more, honestly, to do with the teams around them than them. Like, you look at their stats and they look awful, but you watch the film and you go, oh, Rodgers isn't bad. Christian Watson just doesn't remember the signals. And so it does matter.
Just by the plain eye test, a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
What? Sorry.
I still think Rodgers is top 5.
Oh, just eye test, absolutely. If we're basing it off this year, I'm still putting him tier 3, probably as quarterback.
Yeah,
6
Rodgers is like, yeah, he's probably falling in the top 5 realistically, but like, watch the dude play. He's a top 5. I don't know, dude.
The way I want to look at it, here's how I judge whether you should be a tier 1 or 2 quarterback. You're in the top 2 tiers. To me, I just look at the Vikings because I look at Kirk as the definition of like your above average starter, your guy. Like, he's fine. He's not going to win you games. He's not going to lose you games. He's going to do what the roster can do. Right? So I'm basing my tiers off of quarterbacks on the Vikings, right? If you replace Cousins with Mahomes, we're the clear favorite. We're the best team in football.
Yeah.
You move to tier 2, you replace Cousins with any of the tier 2 guys, Lamar, Burrow, Allen, Herbert, Rodgers, Brady. They're a true contender. Like, nobody would question the Vikings should compete for a Super Bowl, NFC Championship game, or bust if you have those guys. Tier 3 is where I'd put Kirk. You're good. Like, you're fine. I'm not saying Kirk's the top of tier 3, but I'm saying tier 3 is your Kirk Cousins and currently your Trevor Lawrences and those type of really good quarterbacks, but they don't guarantee you that top-end success. And then past tier 3, it gets a little tough. You don't want to have a tier 4 guy or below. You just don't. But, all right. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Fuck. Is there anything else you want to talk about? It seems to be getting worse, so we should probably try to wrap soon.
Out before we... Yeah. I would say... No, I mean, I'm good, man. I had a blast, but yeah, I'm good.
Thank you so much for coming on. It sucks. I feel like this would have been the one night where we pushed the 2 or 3 hour podcast. We pushed the Miller football type recording vibes where we just record forever.
You and I will get there for sure. Yeah.
Tonight would have been the night if the internet didn't suck and we weren't constantly having to go, repeat everything you just said for the last 5 minutes. I got none of it.
You want to repeat everything you just said because you lagged?
God damn. See what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. We'll have to do this again because, of course, we will. That's kind of the thing. I'm almost to the point. We need to, like, discuss with Miller. We need to create our own, like, stay hot. We need to get the 3 of us doing some weekly shit.
Honestly, I think that'd be awesome. I would
be
super down.
We need to get in the group chat later and make some plans.
I think we should pitch that in the group chat. I think that'd be dope.
We should. And then
all right.
Some people will have heard it. So we might even have some opinions on whether we should do that or not. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that could be fun. But yeah, thank you again so much for coming on. I'm honestly just going to say, hopefully your Packers pick it up and can make the end of the season exciting for you.
Yeah.
Make a run. Yeah. I mean, it would have to come crashing down in the wild card round, but that's okay. At least you'd make it. At least you'd make it. Though the memes of if Kirk Cousins beats you in the playoffs is going to be a little tough.
I would probably deactivate Twitter for at least a couple days.
Yeah, you'd have to delete it for a couple days.
Because then your Kirk owns the Packers narrative would be at its strongest.
Oh yeah, like you can make the argument now, but like you beat Rodgers in the playoffs, I'm going
Preferable.
a whole nother level. It would be awful for you. I'm sorry. And I wouldn't even be targeting you. I would just be targeting the world.
Yes.
But
yes.
Don't worry. My villain arc starts the minute the Vikings win a playoff game. All we have to do is win one. And I'm screaming at the internet. I thought we were frauds and couldn't even win one playoff game. Turns out you're a fraud because you don't know ball. I'm going to be just a demon. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Ooh, you really got to hope that doesn't happen, though.
Yeah.
Because I don't even mean the Packers. I just mean because if Kirk wins a playoff game, since coming to Minnesota, he'll have the same number of playoff wins as Rodgers.
I don't want to hear it.
That would be tough. No.
Drew Lock's starting quarterback.
Teddy Bridgewater better. Bam.
Get it rolling.
All right, we're rolling. Thank you again for coming on. It was a blast. But for now, I think that'll do it for us. So thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.
All right.
Peace.
All right, man.